Halftime in week one of the 2022 NFL season. The New Orleans Saints trail the Atlanta Falcons 16-7. And it's been a rough go for the offense. You take away Taysom Hill's production on the touchdown drive and the Saints under 100 yards offensively. The defense can't seem to stop Cordero Patterson, a player that Bob and I highlighted in the pregame show. Bob, simply put, if you want to be positive, I guess, the Saints should only be down 6. Will Lutz uncharacteristically missing a field goal, and that's a guy we talked about as being captain clutch and consistent over the course of his Saints career. The negatives are glaring, and this is an offense that we knew would take some time to get into the rhythm of things, but you can't get into a rhythm of things if the offensive line's not holding up for Jameis Winston or creating holes for Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. The word garbage comes to mind, and I'm being as PG rated as I can. The Saints won the coin toss and deferred, so they'll get the ball first in the second half. And Taysom Hill is being used exactly like I thought Taysom Hill would be used. Tight end, quarterback, running back. I don't care what you position him as. He's an all-purpose threat for this offense. Outside of Taysom Hill and the coin toss, garbage. Cesar Ruiz, Andrus Peat, garbage. The Saints are attacking, the Falcons are attacking, with no regard, for blocking schemes. They're attacking the inside of the Saints offensive line. And I know, PFF scoring might blame Hurst for that first sack. The simple fact is Hurst broke off of the double team. To cover an outside rusher, and Pete literally stopped blocking. Pete and Ruiz have literally been human turnstiles. The Atlanta Falcons are out playing more physical than the Saints on both sides of the football. New Orleans looks like they don't want to be there, and that starts with the players, obviously, because it's on them, but it's also equally on Dennis Allen and the coaching staff. It's your first game. And you've obviously all of you have done a poor job, getting motivated for what the fans think is your most bitter rival. New Orleans, you're not playing like it.
Well, for New Orleans, only down by a score +1. It's only down 9 going into the second half. Like you said, this is a team that's going to get the ball in the first half, or to start the second half, rather. Looking at what you've seen so far, you mentioned the offensive line, but what have you seen out of this receiving corps? Michael Thomas had 1 target, ball was behind him. Doesn't look like, even when Winston has had a little bit more time, doesn't look like the receivers are able to really create any separation.
No. You get back an all-pro record-breaking wide receiver, Michael Thomas, who looks like his reps are going to be limited today. You get a 5-time Pro Bowl receiver in Jarvis Landry, and you get a dynamic first-round pick in Chris Olave. And this receiving core looks exactly like they did last year. Now, to be fair, what we saw last year, even when Winston or any other quarterback was given time, they still didn't get separation. Winston, I'm blaming it on the pass protection first, because Winston just hasn't had time to survey the field at all. When he has, Landry is the only name we've heard more than once called. Thomas, it will probably get credited for a drop on his only target, but the ball was slightly behind him. The timing of the passing game is off, and we suspected that it would be, and it's made even worse by the massive protection issues, and made even worse squared by the fact that the Saints haven't been able to run the ball to keep the Falcons defense honest.
Over the years, going back towards the Saints defense, characteristically, the New Orleans Saints have struggled against quarterbacks who have this run-pass option, more of a spread college-style offense. We're seeing that out of Mariota. They're able to move the defense around a whole lot. How much credit is towards the coaching staff of Marcus Mariota? How much does it fall on New Orleans for really not being able to figure it out over the first half?
Oh, we're going to check off all the boxes as far as the blame game. But the Falcons are coming out with a scheme exactly like, myself and many others thought that they would. You mentioned it too. More often than not, they're moving Mariota around. They're getting him outside the numbers. We've seen a couple design runs from Marcus. Pick up big gains, which is exactly what we were afraid of. But even when Mariota is in the pocket, he's getting rid of the ball quickly, making one read, two reads tops, and then bam, ball's out of his hands. When you have an awful offensive line like the Falcons have, that's exactly the way you want your quarterback to survey the field and get rid of the ball. But honestly, and we'll go back to coaching. Dean Pease, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, has come up with a fabulous game plan so far, and the offensive game plan for Atlanta is equally effective. The Saints are just getting whipped in every phase of the game so far.
Let's read off some of the first half stats, starting with the New Orleans Saints offense. Jameis Winston, 5 of 10 for 24 yards, but you take the sacks into consideration. It's a net of -2 passing yards for New Orleans. Taysom Hill, 2 carries for 68 yards, obviously had the long of 57 and then was able to punch it into the end zone for a touchdown. Kamara, 5 carries for 16. Ingram, 2 for 13. Jameis just scrambling for his life, 2 carries for 9. And then you can go to the receivers. Landry with 2 receptions for 16 yards. Deontay Hardy, 1 catch for 4. And then Hill and Kamara, 1 catch for 2 apiece. Defensively, you look at what Pete Warner was able to do. He leads the team in total tackles with 9. He has the forced fumble. Bradley Roby with the fumble recovery. Bob, before we get off here, let's talk second half adjustments. I mean, the list goes on and on for second half adjustments, but if you had to pick one major thing on the defensive side to stop Cordero Patterson, what would you do if you were on the Saints sideline?
I would actually spread my defensive ends out a little bit wider on the edge because we know that Cam Jordan, Carl Granderson, et cetera, they're athletic players. And then I would pinch my linebackers and maybe bring a safety up into the box and do so on the inside. Clog those inside lanes, make Patterson bounce it outside, which I know sounds odd because that's usually his forte. But with the Falcons just beating the Saints physically at the line of scrimmage, Cordero is getting a lot of room inside the tackles too. If you clog those lanes, you'll make him bounce it outside. But if you widen out your defensive alignment, you might be able to string those plays out for minimal gains.
I was going to say, anytime you have a running back, you want them running east-west, not north-south, right? If you're on the defensive side. So it sounds like a good game plan, Bob. Offensively, you mentioned the offensive line. They've been pretty putrid in the first half. There's not a lot of adjustments you can make when the offensive line's not playing well, but on that first drive for New Orleans to really set the tone offensively in the second half, what would you like to see?
A lot more of Ingram and Kamara in the running game first. And I mentioned Ingram first because what I would do, I would give Ingram more reps out of the backfield. He's a wonderful pass blocker, by the way. So you can keep him inside and give an extra hat on an inside rusher, especially when the Falcons blitz. Use Kamara more outside the numbers. Bring him in motion out of the backfield. Use him as a receiver, not just a check down option, but a legitimate receiver down the field.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up our halftime show. Bob Rose will have some post-game analysis on the Saints News Network, Saints.media. Bob's already chuckling. He's already writing the pregame or post-game analysis, and it's just halftime. For myself, I'll have a couple things as well as John Hendricks and Kyle T. Mosley. You can follow us all over on Twitter at Saints News, and then Saints.media to read the articles. Real quick, Bob, where can everybody follow you so they can get the truest form of Bob Rose following the game?
Folks, you can follow me, Bob Rose, on Facebook, at BobbyR2613 over on Twitter. And as Brendan just mentioned, you can follow all of us, all of our works, and all of our analysis, professional or otherwise, at the Saints News Network. Saints News Network on Facebook and at Saints News on Twitter.
There you go. There's Bob's info. For myself, you can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at BT Boylan. Hoping the Saints come out in the second half. If you're a member of the Houdat Nation and able to string together a drive that leads in points, the Saints certainly need it. Like I said, make sure to follow us for all of our post-game analysis over on Saints News Network. And for our loyal Bayou Blitz family, we'll see you on Wednesday night for more on this week and the next. We'll see you then.